Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, then welcome back. It's amazing to have you here where we learn and improve art together and help each other in our journeys. Today we're actually going to be covering a topic that I've been wanting to cover for a very long time but didn't find it in my schedule to do so. I've been really busy and didn't want to engage myself in a long-term video. So today we're actually going to be covering coloring and rendering hair in my art style. I hope it's easy for you guys to follow along. We're going to be using a character art from one of my really great subscribers and supporters that recently won a commission giveaway. If you guys are interested in participating in another giveaway that we'll be doing at a 250 subscribers milestone, then stay tuned for that. But aside from that, any kind of art theft or copying of this specific character design will not be tolerated, immediately called out and addressed and dealt with accordingly. So without further ado, let's just get into the video right away. Alright, so we're going to start with selecting our hair layer, and we're going to add another layer on top of it, and we're going to clip that layer down to our hair layer. And in this layer, what we're going to do is take an airbrush and color select our hair color here. So you can do one of two things. You can either add the dark color on the bottom of the hair or on the top, and that will determine where the light color goes. So for example, if I do the dark color on the top of the hair, the light colors would be at the bottom, and if I do the dark color at the bottom, the light colors are going to be at the top. Let me demonstrate. So I've already picked the color that of the hair, and I want the darker colors to be at the bottom and the lighter ones to kind of be at the top. So I'm going to take an airbrush and I'm going to increase the size, and I'm going to just keep in mind to always rotate the color wheel. Whenever I do a darker color, I rotate towards the colder hues a bit more. So we're going to rotate towards a bit of the blue, and as you can see, I selected a darker color. And we're going to just airbrush this on there lightly. Not too much. Don't take colors that have a lot of differences with the original color. We just want it to be a bit subtle, because even though your eyes can't tell, they're still there. We don't want something that stands out a bit too much. So now that we're done at the bottom, it's like very light, as you can see. We're going to go and select a lighter color and do it towards the top. Now it depends if you want to do green. I usually just go ahead with the skin tone and do it lightly around the hair that are surrounding the face. So a bit of a hint of the skin color, and it makes the hair look, I don't know, like this translucent a bit, and it gives it like this really good feel. It just blends in really well with the skin. It doesn't stand out as much. Wait. Yeah, I think that looks good. And what we're going to do next is add another layer. You don't have to add that many layers, but I want to. So if I mess up, I can just go ahead and delete that layer. So what we're going to do is turn that layer into the multiply blend mode. I'm going to take a pen and select the green color. Next up, we're going to maybe pick a lighter color, because obviously the multiply darkens it by a lot. We're going to go towards a bit of the yellow and lighten the color to see what looks appropriate enough. I just play with the colors a bit, and I think this looks good enough. It's not too dark and it's not too bright. So what we're going to do is roughly make these like kind of squiggly lines across the hair. We're not going to any details yet. We're just going to make them like so. And add and color like lines of the same color. And I'm going to do that for the rest of the hair as well. Keep in mind the flow of the hair and the direction where it's flowing. We don't want to go against the direction. And keep in mind any stray strands here, because as you can see here, I did not continue the line onto the strand that is in the front. You need to keep that in mind. Alright, almost done. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do these lines again. I'll further elaborate on that in a bit. It's a technique that I actually saw online with another artist, and I kind of adapted that into my own art style. It did turn out a bit different, but if it looks good, then you know. I'm pretty sure my art style is going to change again, but for now I'm content with how it looks. Alright, we've done that. We're going to take a blend tool, because I'm using CSP here. I have a lot of blending tools. but I think there is a substitute for this if you're using Ibis Paint. I'm not familiar with Krita or Medibang, but I know that there is a substitute for this in Ibis Paint. And we're going to start blending it in the opposite direction of the line. Basically, just from the edge. We're not going to blend the edges completely. We're just going to, I don't know, like drag the color inwards. I don't know how to explain this. And if it looks a bit too sharp on some edges, then you can blend it a bit more. We don't want it to look extremely like dense in some areas and some not. So here's like a general idea of what we're looking for, and then we're going to go ahead and blend some of the edges, like from some places, softening them up. We don't want them to be a bit too harsh, and generally I do this from the ends of where they start and where they end. So we want kind of like this kind of look. I'm using the Painterly blender in CSP, and if I could find any substitute for this in Ibis Paint, I would I would caption it down in the video somewhere. Because I use like a huge canvas, that's because like my tools tend to lag a bit, and I don't like it, but oh well, that's like what I have to make do with. That's why like this is taking a lot of time, so I'll just speed this part of the video. Alright, we're done with this part. And so this, like, I'm going to guide you, is completely optional. You don't have to add another layer, but the reason that I do is because if I mess up this part, at least I could erase it while it's on another layer, but I couldn't if it was on the same layer, and that would be problematic for me. I'd rather merge the layers later. So I'm going to add another layer. You can just do it on this one and flip it down to the hair layer again and turn it to multiply. Now what we're going to do is take a slightly darker color, slightly, like not more dark, but just like slightly. And this is the part where we're going to keep the hair in mind, where the shadows are going. And so, for example, the hat is supposed to cast the shadow onto the hair, and I'm just going to draw this random squiggly shape where it's supposed to cast a shadow. I'm going to do the same all across, and I'm also going to add the cast shadows for the hair on the hair. For example, there's supposed to be a cast shadow here, so the cast shadow is going to be somewhat like this. Just the lines. I'm not going to fill it in yet. I'm just going to go ahead and add all the cast shadows, and let's speed this part up. Now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to start with blending the whole thing again. Please keep in mind, a quick reminder, the direction of the hair really matters, so keep that one in mind. Alright, now that we're done with those, we're going to do the middle tones. What I usually do is I add another layer. You don't have to do this, or you can do it on the same layer, but just to be safe, I add another layer. And what I'm going to do is take a grayish color, a bit on the gray side, and let's see, it's like a bit light, but not too much so. So I'm going to take like maybe like a bit more blue. Yeah, something like this. There has to be a difference in the hue. It doesn't have to be like the same color. I wanted it slightly blue so you can see it's a bit of a gray tone. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it like where the hair folds, because when something folds, I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. When something folds, this part is going to receive more light than these two parts. So there's going to be a softer shade on these two parts and highlights on this part. So this is what we're going to use in the hair. I hope I made my idea pretty clear. Yeah, so I'm going to demonstrate that here. So on this layer, the hair is folding on this part. So this part is what's going to receive the highlights. So the rest of it is going to be a bit more shadowed. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it here as well. Up here. And again, we're going to go ahead and blend them. So here the blending is going to be a bit different. We're going to blend them, but not make them too muddy, if y'all know what I mean. Maybe like leave one edge or two unblended, so it does not end up looking too muddy like so. I'm only blending like one part of it, and the other I'm just gonna lightly do it. So there's still a bit of a sharp edge here. Yeah, I'm going to speed up this part again. So this is what we've reached so far, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually add another normal layer this time. I'm not going to be using the multiply layer, so we're going to use the normal layer, and I'm going to add reflective lighting. So this is completely optional. You don't actually have to do this. The reason I'm doing this is because I need a bit more vibrancy and color variation in my art. So I'm going to take a tad of pink, which is going to appear kind of like purple on here, and that's the color I'm going for. Wait, a bit grayish. It's sort of lining the colors with the hat, and I don't want that. Oh well, I'll just make do with this. And I'm going to add it on the innermost part of the hair to kind of show that these are like parting here, or make them stand out a bit. Again, this is like completely optional because further into this tutorial, we're going to add a bit more color variation anyway, so that you don't have to do this. Alright, now that we've added the color, again, we're going to go ahead and blend this. Let's speed this part up. You can already see how much better it's starting to look on the side as compared to that side. So we're going to go ahead and blend this side as well. Alright, that looks good. And we're going to proceed to the next part of it, which is obviously adding a bit more color here. We need more color, and then we're going to work on the highlights. So to add more color, what I'm going to do is, again, another layer. We're going to be adding another layer. And we're going to first of all keep it in the normal blending mode for now. And we're going to take a lot of like bright colors. Allow me to demonstrate. I'm going to take a pink and I'm going to like add patches of it all over here. And then I'm going to rotate the color wheel and go for purple, maybe a bit darker so we can actually see it. Next up, we're going to rotate the color wheel again and add the blue. Okay, these are going a bit too cool for my liking, and I'm gonna add this blue instead. Add, again, patches of it. And lastly, I was going for a bit of a... I don't know what this color is called, but something a bit more brighter. We already have that, so we're going to use like the pink from the red. Like a warmer shade of pink. Place that as well. So now that we have our colors down, what we're going to do is go to filter if you're using CSP and blur and Gaussian blur, and we're going to increase the intensity all the way. All right, now that that's done, we're going to go to filter again and then blur. We're going to go with motion blur, and I'm going to first see on the preview first how it's gonna look, and depending on that, I'm going to decide on the intensity. I think this is good for now for me, and you can do it however you like. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to change the layer mode to overlay and reduce the opacity to about 10 or 15, whatever you like. And you might not be able to see a huge difference, but if I turn this off, you can see a difference. It's far brighter here, and I'm also going to, first of all, alter the brightness a bit. So I'm going to go to edit and tonal correction and brightness. I'm going to brighten this up more because I don't like the dull colors, so I'm going to reduce it back. Alright, and that looks okay for now. Alright, so the highlights are next, and I promise this is the second last step, and after this, it's a pretty easy step, you don't have to do a lot, but for now, the highlights. You're gonna have to add another layer, but I'm going to... Actually, you kind of do. If you did use an overlay layer, you kind of do have to add another layer on top of it for the highlights. So what we're going to do, what I usually do, is I take the lasso select and select kind of like box shapes on her hair, keeping in mind where the direction of it is and where it's flowing, and add them all over. Alright, I think that's good, and we're going to take the opposite end of the hues. So while doing the shading, I was taking a bit more towards the blues, and now I'm going to go towards the yellows. I'm going to color pick the base color, which as you can see at this point, and we're going to go a bit towards the lighter part and do the shading of that color. I usually don't use the same color for highlights, actually. This is what the highlights look like right now. But what usually the color that I use is either like blue or pink. It just looks better. I don't know why, it just does usually. It gives a bit more depth to the painting already because you're constantly painting with the same color. So I'm going to lower the opacity of this by 45 to 45, and you can already see that it still has a lot of visibility and it's blending quite well with green. And I'm going to just like from the ends lightly blend it a little, not too much, just a little. is already coming together, and I'm going to lower the opacity a bit more. Okay, and that looks good for now. The next thing I'm going to do is, you don't have to add another layer again. You can use the same layer, but I like to because I guess I'm paranoid, but I'm going to repeat the process. Okay, that looks good. Now, lastly, what we're going to do is add another layer on top of our line art. And we're going to draw stray strands of hair. And how we're going to do that, I usually use the pencil for this because it's a bit more textured. I'm going to start picking colors from the piece that we've done here and start adding these flowy strands, making sure that they're using a color from the piece that looks a bit more visible. Thick and thin, you have to like vary between them. I guess here is when the pen pressure comes a lot in use. Don't overdo it because from experience I'm telling you it does end up looking a lot messier than you want it to come off. So do not overdo it, just keep that in mind and you'll be good. That looks good for one side, and we're going to do the other. It's really easy to get carried away because I do tend to get really carried away while I'm doing this. And that's okay, you can probably just go ahead and fix it later if it looks too messy. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and tweak it a little because there's some things about it that I don't like, so it's just... Let's just speed through this, actually. Alright, I like this better. I'm also gonna go ahead and change the color of the line art. I don't want it to be that dark. And so I'm going to add another layer on top of the line art and flip it down and change the color of it to a bit something like dark green maybe. Actually, I'm gonna use the magic wand to just select the entirety of the hair. And use this. I think that looks far better than what it initially looked like. I'm going to erase it from the eyes where the hair is not there. Alright, so that's it for the hair tutorial. If you guys want to see another tutorial, let me know in the comment section down below. I will be more than happy to further elaborate here. And if this was kind of hard for you guys to understand, I would be willing to make it again, like the entire tutorial. So let me know that in the comment section below too. And if you guys want to participate in the upcoming giveaway milestone at the 250 subscribers milestone, keep tuned for it. Yeah, these were the winners of the comms. A video regarding that would also be posted. So I would see you guys again soon. Until then, take lots of care of yourself and practice a lot, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.